Okay.
South.
Where are you off to, mate?
North. Are you going west?
Yep.
Are you going east?
Going east, eh?
Lancaster, Fortin Services.
Oh, I can drop me off there.
I'm a filmmaker shooting a documentary about people who pick up hitchhikers.
Yeah.
Is it alright if I film it as we go along?
I think so, yeah. Be alright.
If you want. Yeah, great.
Give it a good slam. That's it.
What's your name?
My name's Nathan,
Nathan. I'm Geraldine. This is Tony.
and we're heading southwards.
I can't take you all the way, but I'll take you some of the way.
Do you often pick up hitchhikers?
Yeah, all the time.
Once before, some weird fella. That was in the north of Scotland.
No, not usually.
No, sometimes. Sometimes I do.
My ex-partner, I used to often see people and say, should we pick them up? And he would be absolutely adamantly no.
Oh, well, I'm your mum and I wouldn't like to think you picked anybody up when you were on your own.
That's me told.
A few months ago, I gave a lad a lift from north to south. He was a bit down on his luck, so I ended up giving him some money so he can get something to eat.
He just wanted to lift up the motorway, one junction. And where I dropped him off, I got the idea basically he was scoring heroin, but he was hitchhiking to do it, and that was a bit odd.
Anyway, what are you going to do? How's this going to make it better, the fact that you're with us? They decide they're going to beat us up or something?
I know my father used to be horrified when I was 55 or something that I gave somebody a lift. Oh dear, how protective parents still are.
But I picked up a few other people, and there are all sorts of people from all over the place. It seems like a cool thing to do if you're hitchhiking. It seems by default quite cool to pick up a hitchhiker and just give them a lift someplace.
Have you ever been hitchhiking before?
Yeah, I mean, hitchhiking was a big hobby of mine when I was at college and post-college.
Like I'm going to admit that in front of my mother. The answer is no. Years and years and years ago.
I was still in the army, and I was dropped off at Knutsford one Saturday. And I tried hitching a ride in uniform to Warrington, and no one ever stopped. So I walked it all the way, and when I got to Warrington, I'd worn my socks out. And I can't think where I was going, but my car broke down and I had to hitchhike back home, and I got picked up by a chap who'd been out shooting rabbits, and he said, "Do you like rabbit?" And he gave me a couple of rabbits. So I took those home and said to my wife, "Right, this is dinner."
We gave up teaching after a year and set off to India. And we went via Yugoslavia.
I needed to get all the way from John F. Kennedy Airport down to Mississippi. As I came out the airport, I walked to a car park, and a car drew out, and I opened the passenger door and said, "Can I have a lift? I'm a hitchhiker." And the bloke was really amazed, and he sort of went, "Yeah." And so I sat in, and off. That was me on the way.
In Iran, we met two Swiss lorries travelling long distance, and we broke all our hitchhiking rules for ourselves. One of them was never to be split up. We were two women. But these two Swiss lorries, we thought it was a bit fair to dump the luggage in one and travel in the other. They were mates travelling together. So we actually went one in each lorry. It was fine.
Yeah, we did a bit of hitchhiking in Cuba. We went to the little villages and tried as much as possible to get in touch with the Cuban people, even though you got a big neon sign hanging over your head saying that you're a tourist.
Oh, what was the story of you meeting the same people?
The year before, we'd done a kind of trial to Yugoslavia and had a fortnight's holiday in Yugoslavia and got picked up by this bloke. A year later, the same bloke picked us up.
Can you imagine it?
Yeah.
I was dropped off at night on this exit intersection in the motorway, and I kept turning down lifts, and then this Negro trucker came up, and I couldn't understand him very well, But I said, I'm heading for Mississippi, and he just said, get in. And I said, well, are you going to Mississippi? And he didn't say what, he just said, get in. So I got in, and he took me, about 850 miles, I think it was.
Pakistan, we got the train again, and into India, and the whole travelling side of things, including the Channel ferry, cost us 12 quid. That was 1969.
In those days, as I say, there were many more hitchhikers, and the way to recognise a student was actually with a student scarf, with the college scarf. And if you had one of those, you were almost guaranteed to be picked up by someone.
So have you got a breakdown cover?
Yeah? Oh, is this a sales pitch?
Yeah, I'll sell you a breakdown cover. I'll give you a discount.
Hitchhiking was the norm in those days. It was cheap travel, and people used to say, aren't you exploiting the drivers? Well, no, because they don't have to pick us up if they don't want to. There's usually something in it for them, company often, or enjoying doing a good turn.
So why do most of the people say they pick up hitchhikers then?
Most used to be hitchhikers themselves.
And that's why they just feel that they should repay the favour, sort of thing?
I think so, yeah, pretty much.
I suppose I was about 100 yards from you when I saw you, and immediately, as I say, you look like a proper hitchhiker.
We reckoned when we were hitchhiking long distances in my college days that we could be at the end of the queue of hitchhikers, great long queue of hitchhikers, and we'd get the lift.
Oh, well, you were dishy in those days.
Well, thank you.
You're dishy now.
It wasn't just that, it was this psychology that I'm talking about, that you face the traffic, you make contact, you give somebody an experience of who you are and what you like.
It's just general first impressions. I mean, I saw you standing there, and I thought, well, you look all right. I'm in the mood for a chat, and I'll see where you're heading for.
Yeah, but you look trustworthy, Nathan, didn't it? But I must admit, I said to Tony, pick him up.
You were told, were you?
Yeah, I had instructions.
Now, wait a minute, I've got to move out here. I think I'll let this fella go by. Here we go.
But you have to have a lot of, it doesn't really matter what happens attitude, I think. Like, if it rains, will people really want an anorak and a wet pack and things? Will people really ever pick me up? But they do. And you have to not mind whether you get a lift or not, somehow. If the first person doesn't pick you up, well, you don't go into doom and gloom, I'll never get a lift. You just try again.
If I've ever been going anywhere, I've never had the balls to just turn up somewhere, hope for the best. Because if no one picks you up, you're screwed. I'd rather book a train or hire a car or something.
I'm only realising now how grateful I am that my parents were so liberal around my hitchhiking. I mean, my father used to say he thought I was incredibly brave hitchhiking across to India. I said it didn't feel like bravery to me. It would have done to him, because he would have been scared, but for me it was an adventure.
Depending on where you're going, it's still got that idea of adventure, and that's, I don't know, I suppose, to use the word romance, I think that's the thing sadly lacking in the world today, that whole idea of adventure. It can be a bad thing as well as a good thing, but, adventure can mean sitting by the side of the road in the rain, in the dark, tired and hungry and feeling fairly pathetic, but you're going to laugh at it eventually.
Best of luck.
Yeah, right, we'll have a good trip up here. Cheers, thank you. Okay. Thank you, goodbye.
Okay, bye.